how I fall in love. Chain out, cash up.
Alright, so your first step here is to probably drag in your first clip. I think I'm gonna use this one. And then you gotta drag in your song. When you highlight your sequence, go to your sequence settings. Make sure. See how this is? If you have a stretch res clip and you're just putting it in there, then you want to have it as 1920 by 1080. Make sure it's 60 frames per second, and you should be good. Okay. So now you're gonna get black bars, but all you gotta do to get rid of those is uncheck your uniform scale and drag it, and now you got full screen. So what you gotta do now is find your beat. So that's what I'm gonna do. So it's right here. Mark it. So I'm gonna right click here and I'm gonna put apply default transitions. Drag this so it fades in the audio. Don't worry about this because this is so right here is where I want it to. Is where I want the beat. Right, is where I want the shot. I have it marked already, but if you don't, then just find where the bullet. Find where the bullet. See right here, and the number changes. So that's my mark right there. And then you line it up with the song, the beat. Drag it to the beginning. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fade this in. So apply default transitions. Right, just a little bit shorter. Like that. And I'm also going to make this a little bit lower because it's a little bit loud. So it's still a little loud. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put in my ident. And there's plenty of ways to get idents, but, you know, search around the internet. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put like a colored background along with a blur to make it look cleaner. So I'm going to add a lens blur, CC lens blur. Drag that on here. And I'm going to keyframe and drag it to 0. And right about here is where it starts coming in. I'm going to set it to like 5. And then once the ident starts to come in right there, I'm going to come over here, the new item, and I'm going to add a color matte. And I'm going to hit the little pen thing. I'm going to click on this so it's the same color, hit OK, OK, and drag it on. And I'm going to set the blend to screen. And I'm going to turn down the opacity so it's like that. And I'm going to have this cross dissolve in as well. So right click, apply default transitions. Like so. And it's not pre-rendered, so. So right about where it fades out, I'm going to fade the, so right about here. That's where it ends. So I'm going to drag it to right here. Drag this to here. And right here, I'm going to apply default transitions. This is where I want the color to go away. And I'm going to also keyframe the blur about halfway through. Keyframe this, bring it to the end about here, and drag this back to 0 so there's no more blur. So then you got this. It goes away. And
Hey, way out in Hollywood.
now we can get to time remapping. Alright, so now we marked where the bullet drops, right, where the number changes, right around here. Full, you can see it changes. This is an estimate, but usually you want to mark it right as the bullet changes. Here, scroll through frames, right there. What we're going to do is we're going to drag this so it's a little bit closer together so you can get more in depth. We're going to drag this up so you can see more. And we're going to right click on the clip, hit show clip keyframes, go to time remapping, speed, and we're going to right click, we're going to control click right here, drag this back a tiny bit, drag this up to 230%, and then we're gonna scroll across some frames until you see the name right about there, and control click again, another keyframe, drag it back, drag this one down to 50%, and now you got yourself a timer map.
Hey, way out in Hollywood. Way out in Hollywood.
I mean, you can make this a little bit like shorter.
Out in Hollywood. Hey, way out in Hollywood.
You know, mess around with it. So there's our timer map, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put a shake on it. So right around here, I'm gonna cut this, and I'm gonna nest this whole thing right here. Boom. And right around here where the beat hits, I'm gonna add a bass. So bass swoosh like this.
Way out in Hollywood.
Like so. And I'm also gonna cut it right on the beat. Alright, so now you got yourself an RGB shake. So you're gonna drag on an S_shake and copy these settings. Pause the video if you need. And you're gonna wanna you know what? So you're gonna want to keyframe this to the amplitude of this and this amplitude 940, and at the end of the clip you're gonna want to have it at, let's see, 1 and 0, keeping the amplitude to 0, just like in the last video, and you have an RGB shake along with the red amplitude on the channels being 3. And if you don't see channels, you need to download Boris X Sapphire.
I know that.
There's your shake. Now we're gonna move on to the transition. I'm gonna find my next beat here, which is around here actually. And we're gonna drag in our next clip, which is right here. Now I'm going to find the part where I shoot him, and this is the exact same thing as before. Find where the bullet shoots, mark it, drag it onto where you marked it, it'll auto align, and if not, hit S and it'll auto align. If you see this magnet highlighted, it stands for snap and timeline, and it will do it for you. See if my playhead is not here, if I move it, it'll snap it in. So drag it back, and we're gonna put a transition over here. So the way to do this transition is you're going to drag this up, drag this one down, and drag this back to around here-ish or wherever.
I know that.
So it looks like that. I'm gonna lower this a little bit again. Clips are loud. 6. All right. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna have this is what we're gonna do. So this is where we're gonna make the transition. So cut this here and leave this for now. We'll worry about this later. Drag this back to normal, just so you don't forget. Nest this. Boom. And now we can start keyframing the position. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna click on this clip and we're going to keyframe keyframe the position and change the scale to around 60 or 65. I like 60. Or you can go lower than that, 50, it doesn't really matter. So, what you're going to do is right around here at the beginning of the clip, you're going to keyframe it and drag it. You're going to drag on the right side, you're going to see the 2 position variables, X, Y. Drag the Y up here on the first frame, and right about halfway through, like about here, you're gonna reset parameters, so it's gonna be back here. And on a frame, scroll 1 frame afterwards, and keyframe the scale, and drag it to the end of the clip, or at the end of the bottom clip, so right around here, and reset that as well. So it's gonna be like this.
I know that.
Like that.
I know that.
That is going to be your transition. And now what we're gonna do is add a blur on the bottom clip, so to make it look a little bit cleaner. So lens blur, and you're going to want to drag the lens blur onto the bottom clip, and you're going to want to keyframe at this frame right here when the top one starts. Drag it to 0, and when it starts to come in, like around here, right, like when it starts to come in, like right around here, you're gonna keyframe it to around like 5. Come on, 5. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is so you see it keyframes in the blur. So right around here, we're gonna add a drop shadow onto this. So just a regular drop shadow. Drag the perspective drop shadow. No plugins required for this one. Boom. And what I'm going to do is you have to change the opacity to max, so 100. Turn up the softness a tiny bit, maybe like 30-ish. What you're going to do is you're going to click on the drop shadow, you're going to copy it, and then you're going to paste it a bunch of times, like Control V, about like 5 or 6 times. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 is good. So now what you're gonna do is you're gonna go to the bottom and change the positioning of all of them. So I'm gonna change the quality up here so I can see a little bit better. But you have to change the positioning basically on all of them. And you can mess around with it or do whatever you want with it. It doesn't really matter as long as you have a nice looking shadow going. That's all that really matters. And you can do more drop shadows to make it look thicker. But you know. And then you will have this.
I know that.
Now let's add an effect on this clip. So this effect is what I like to do for wind clips, and you'll see a lot of people do it like Yarn and everybody. What I like to do is I'll add a shake and most likely like a glint on it. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna nest this whole clip right here, and I want to cut it right here. And so you're gonna get a lumetri color. You're gonna drag it onto both clips. The clip before the kill. You're going to go to the basic correction section, and you're going to drag the saturation down to 0. So you're going to see it here, saturation 0, and you're going to go on the one with the kill, and you're going to also drag that to 0. So what you're going to do is you're going to put your effect on this clip. So I'm gonna go back and take the shake that I put on this one. So I'm gonna copy this shake and put it here. Boom. And then you can do whatever you want after that. But I'm gonna wait to put the glint on it, so I have the shake on it. And you can see it in the beginning. You know, it doesn't really matter. So what you're gonna do is you're going to keyframe the saturation here at 0 and drag it all the way back to around here. A couple frames before, you know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. And reset. And you're going to have a build. Right? And now what you're going to do is you're going to click on this and you're going to alt drag this clip up. So on the top clip, you're going to go down back to your saturation, and you're going to reset it on the top clip. And what you're going to do is you're going to come up to the top again and create an ellipse mask, change the feather to around 300, and keyframe the mask expansion at the beginning of the clip and drag it down so you see nothing, and right around here, a couple frames ahead, maybe like 20 seconds ahead, and you're going to drag it to where it's covering the whole screen, like so. So you're going to have an effect like that. So now what you're going to do to make the mask come like a little bit more pronounced, you're going to type in s_glint, which is a sapphire plugin, and you're going to put it on the top clip, and it's going to make it look really, really bright like this, but you're not going to have it like that because you're going to keyframe it. Come down to your effects controls and change the brightness to around 0.2. Keyframe it there, and right around here, you're going to keyframe it back to 0, so it's going to fade. And you can move that a little bit ahead a little bit more, and move around the keyframe. That's how I usually do it. And then you can add an S_glow on it as well, on the top clip, and change around. I like to make it pink, because it looks cool, like around there. Keyframe the brightness to around 7-ish, and bring it to like there, here, and bring it down to 0. And what you're gonna do is on the glow, you're gonna change the threshold, so you only see globs, like that, and now you have a cool looking effect.
Catching feelings for me since I got my comments.
And I like adding a flicker to it, so you can do that if you want. So, add a flicker, keyframe amplitude, and then the back of the clip, keyframe, move a frame, keyframe it again, and move it down to 0. So
Feelings for me since I got my comments.
and yeah, now you're gonna add a base swoosh on that. Boom. And I think that's it. Then if you want to see how it looks, you can hit X to pre-render, drag it all the way to the beginning and end, come up to sequence, render into out, and now it will render and you'll see it all in high quality, and I'll show you when it's done. Now what you're going to have is something like this.
Hey, hey, way out in Hollywood. I know that Hollywood probably just a feeling, yeah, she probably would. She catching feelings for me since I got my comments up.
And you can add more effects like that. So I'm gonna add like a little effect to make it look cool. So right around here, on the first keyframe, you can put a correction, keyframe saturation, drag it through 3 frames, drag it down to 0. Drag it like 5 frames, or 4 or 5 frames over, reset it. And then in the next keyframe, do the same thing. And then right around here, I'm going to do it with the opacity instead of the lumetri because it's already fading out. So, right around here, same exact thing. But instead, I'm going to do it with like 25 opacity. And then you're going to have an effect like that.
Probably just a feeling, yeah, she probably would. She catching feelings for me since I got my comments.
So, if you want to add a little outro, I recommend looking up on YouTube just light leaks and drag it right in and hit like a thanks for watching over it with a little text wave, and that's really it. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next in my next highlight video or my next tutorial video. I will be having another one coming out soon. It's going to be on like yarn shockwave. Pretty common, but I mean, you guys have been recommending that I bring out more tutorials, and there's a lot of options, but there's also a lot of options that I need to be original with. So, this was sort of original, sort of. I mean, you know, a lot of the things with editing are recycled, so, you know. But here I am, I'm teaching you guys how to do this, and I'm making you guys better editors. Hope you guys enjoyed. My new highlight video will be coming out soon, probably like in a week or 2. And yeah, thank you guys for all the recent support, and I'll see you guys